Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Pentas video for Group B, Stage 2, Round Robin for Worlds 2021. Little confusing. I mean, we all know the format by now. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you know what's going on. We got Group B to talk about for tomorrow's DraftKings slate. My name is Ethan Sexton. Joining me as always is Calvin T. Calvin, what's up, man?
What up, fellas? NA for life, baby.
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about it before we clicked record, but what an insane day. I mean, we got to start with FPX. Like this team, they didn't look good last week. It was this week, Cal. They didn't look good in the first round robin stage. They were 2-1 after that, but even the games they won, they didn't look like we would expect them to look. I mean, most people thought this was a team that had a chance to win the entire tournament. They weren't that good after the first round robin, and today they went 0-4, including a tiebreaker loss to Rogue. Not what we expected out of this team, man.
No, it was really disappointing. I said in the article that Nuguri was a huge problem. Not Nuguri, sorry. Tien was a big problem, and I guess their meta champion pool. Nuguri is really not known for like playing any of the carry champions, and it kind of showed. J4, I said, had like the worst win rate I think in World ever. Like his win rate was like 10%. It was bad. It happens. The Rumble pick mid also, just do and be special. I don't know. I feel like they weren't prepared for any of this. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they admitted, I think I heard in an interview or read somewhere that, I forget who it was, if it was, it might have been Crisp, might have been Tien, I can't remember who, but they said their read on the meta coming in wasn't good, which is why they looked so shaky through the first round robin stage. But I'll tell you what, they obviously didn't learn that much because they were even worse this time around. I mean, some of the games like Tien in the tiebreaker game, like he's playing Viego, they got Twisted Fate mid, which, Twisted Fate is historically a really good pick, right? But it hasn't looked that good at Worlds this year compared to some other tournaments where it's been popular, like in the summer split finals for a lot of these leagues. And then Viego is kind of a jungle champ that people have been moving away from a bit. So I don't know. Their read on the meta was obviously weird, and they just couldn't make up for it by sheer talent gaps. From Doinby or Nuguri or any of those guys. But certainly going 0-4 today was just very surprising.
Yeah.
And then, on the flip side, Cal, Cloud9 and second round robin, is there a better duo in the entire world?
Dude, I don't even know, to be honest with you. It's just, I don't even know what to say. I'm just. League of Legends is fucking crazy this year. Season 11 has been crazy. I don't even know what's going on half the time. So.
Yeah, insanity. I mean, it was kind of nice, like in a way, because a lot of people were like wondering, is a Western team even going to make it out of groups? And it would have been pretty hard to get completely shut out, I feel like. But to get Cloud9 through, it's good for them. It's interesting. We'll see who they play in the quarterfinals. They might be a team that we want to pick on. So maybe it's good that they got through. We'll have somebody to target next week.
Yeah.
But all right, man, let's go ahead and we'll jump into tomorrow's slate, which is, of course, Group B. So Group B, we've got EDG at 3-0 after the first round robin, T1 at 2-1, 100 Thieves at 1-2, and DFM are 0-3. As we come into this thing, do you think it just ends up being a snowball for EDG? Do you think they can finish 6-0? Do you think they drop a game? I mean, they're certainly in the driver's seat to get out as the first seed in this group. But do you like them to finish 6-0, or do you think there'll be a hiccup in there somewhere tomorrow?
I want to believe in EDG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like there won't be a hiccup tomorrow. EDG's been playing really well. I think they're like the damn one, if in a sense, you know what I mean? Like where they're just kind of just cruising. Their drafts make sense. They're really good at team fighting right now, and they're all on the same page. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
Happy about them. DFM, DFM and 100 Thieves are a little bit lower. I don't think. See, there's a reason why Cloud9 I think is better than I would say 100 Thieves, and no, I don't want to discredit 100 Thieves, But the world's experience on C9 is a lot better and is a lot more productive than 100 Thieves. You know what I mean? Not saying 100 Thieves isn't talented, but I just don't see like how they can come together as like a full team, and take down some of these juggernauts like T1 and EDG.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of like, let's use the cool buzzword that we have to hear 9 million times on the broadcast every single slate. There was a little bit of hopium uh, for 100 Thieves going into their matchup against T1. People kind of throwing a little bit of shade at T1 and hope for 100 Thieves. But how'd that go, right? It didn't go real well. T1 buried them. I don't think they can beat EDG. Now, best of ones, we both know anything can happen. So, of course, they could beat either of those two teams. But as far as 100 Thieves goes, it feels like them coming in third place is a pretty good showing for their first time at Worlds as an organization. This is the first time at Worlds for pretty much all their players. I think who he was there was CLG. But I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think every other player – I can't remember if Someday made it with KT. I know the one year they lost in the gauntlet. I can't remember if he ever made it to Worlds, but the team as a whole doesn't have a lot of international experience. So if they could beat DFM again and go 2-4, not a bad showing for their first Worlds.
No, it wouldn't be bad. You know what I mean? Honestly, really do have, some upside. But it's just another tough group. You know what I mean? I think it's because we kind of saw how FPX looked, so it was kind of shaken up already to begin with, and so I think with this group, both T1 and EDG, the two heavy favorites, they actually look good, So I don't think I'm that worried.
Yeah. So is that? Any hope for like DFM? Do you think DFM can sneak a game off of maybe it's 100 Thieves, maybe it's I can't really see it against T1 or EDG just based on how the first round robin went. They kind of got buried by 100 Thieves too. Do you think they're destined to go 0-6?
Sorry, I was just distracted. I don't know. I'm trying to look at it, but I don't think they have good upside. I just don't. I really do think DFM is probably the worst team in that group. I just don't know what they're doing with their drafts and stuff. Like, I get it. The Trinamir was great. That was pretty cool. But like every other draft they had, they just didn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Their team comp didn't make any sense. They played Rakan and Aphelios, which as a Aphelios main, because I'm a stud. Really, the Rakan knockup, I guess, really doesn't help Aphelios enough because he's really immobile, anyways.
Yeah.
So you got the knockup, and then what? Like a Thresh is always helpful because if you're going in, right, you got that Lantern to save you. You got the Morgana to send the spell shield on you, or same with Lux. You know what I mean? So it's like some of the drafts that they had was just really bad, and if they're going to continue to draft like that, I'm not a fan. I think they'll go 0-6.
Okay. So we don't want to, obviously for DFS purposes, then we're not looking DFM's way at all unless you're multi-entering, doing a bunch of lineups, sprinkle some in because who knows, FPX went 0-4 today, so who knows what could happen. But I guess for DFS purposes, the standings that we see on the screen there is exactly how they're priced for DFS purposes. So, EDG are the most expensive down through to DFM being the cheapest. For DFS purposes, are you paying up for EDG tomorrow, or are you? Wait, I'm an idiot, man.
What's wrong with you?
I think I screwed something up. Yeah, all right, never mind. I was right. I must have clicked the button on DraftKings and they got all out of order, but that is the order. EDG is the most expensive. DFM players are the cheapest. For DFS purposes, are you going big stack all in EDG, or do you want to mix it up from an ownership standpoint? Because probably 4-man EDG is where basically everyone's going to look.
I think that's how you're going to have to play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because if you think EDG is gonna sweep through that group, right?
Mm-hmm.
The point of it is to get as maximum points as you can. Like what I started doing in these type of slates is where if I have a team, if I can fit a carry on the losing team that's going like 2-1, right? Maybe fit like a carry in the captain spot that's going to go 2-1, and then kind of just like full stack the 4-0 team right there.
Hmm.
That's another way you could be like very different because yeah, maybe he's not accumulating a lot of points, but T1 EDG could be a bang out. I know that didn't happen last time, but it could be, and especially if T1 wins, because I think T1's the second best team. Then you're kind of ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like a small trick that I use, and usually you'll cash majority of the time with that kind of strategy to put a carry because those score the most, even in a loss. You know, unless they get like absolutely dumpstered on.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, even though like if T1, say you went with like Gumayushi as your captain, um, even if they lose the EDG, he could still get enough points in the other two games and in a loss if they keep it competitive,
100%.
where his ownership is going to be way lower than Vipers, probably, I would think.
Yeah.
So you do get to differentiate a little bit that way. So that's a good way to do it. I mean, are you willing, like, with any real like confidence to put a 100 we don't like DFM. I think you kind of said they're going to look likely to finish 0-6. But that means 100 Thieves would win at least one game. Do you have any confidence doing like a one-off with 100 Thieves, a small stack of 100 Thieves, or are you primarily just going to make all your lineups with EDG and T1 players?
Um, I might have a lineup or two with 100 Thieves when multi entering. I mean, like you said, anything. I mean, anything could happen. We just saw it today with C9. It's just out of the blue.
Yep.
So maybe a stack or two, or like if you really want to, put like a random like 100 Thieves player in like a team in the team, or not in a team slot. I would never use a losing team in a team slot. Um, Probably like maybe the jungle or like someday is a good example for a one off, and then just build the rest, with EDG and T1, thinking that you can fit that pricing in. So there's a lot of ways to go. You know what I mean in these type of slates where the cumulative scores is what you get at the end of the day. So
Yeah, for sure. I could see doing a one-off with 100 Thieves. You're probably going to get only one win from them. So it makes it kind of tough. But like, I just feel like the EDG T1 combinations are going to be so played out and so repetitive that you got to try to get a little weird if you want to, really make up the difference and try to win a GPP. Flandre and Kana can be carries and take over games. But some days the guy for 100 Thieves that, is he's not always the main carry, but he's the guy that can put up a pretty big point total. So I don't mind the one off there, and then you jam in, you get the salary savings in top lane where it hasn't really been the case this tournament, but historically top lane can be a little more of an island where the kill participation is so low that maybe it doesn't always make sense to pay up for the top guys anyway. Although in this tournament, I think maybe doing the one off with the top laner isn't as good as it would be historically, just because top lane's been pretty prevalent as far as carrying games and being heavily involved throughout this tournament so far.
yeah, like I said, like we said in the beginning of the show, like a preview, the best top laner is honestly gonna whoever has the best top laner is gonna win. Essentially, whoever has a winning top laner is always gonna win. So I would say Flandre hasn't really like demonstrated like his paralysis because I mean his team is they're just good. They're just good everywhere else. Where Flandre just plays weak side so much where he just doesn't do anything. He just lanes and then that's it. Lets his other team wins and then joins in team fights. One of the few that what's it called? That kind of just lets his team do all the work. Because if we've known Flandre before, he's the type of guy to be a little aggressive and try to play the more of the carry role when he was on Snake or
Yep.
LNG. And so now that he has a team that wins lanes, now we can see how good he really is and doesn't have to play too aggressive. Kana is a different type of guy because he is the type of guy who will carry games. We've seen Kana pop off before because owner really loves sitting topside.
Yep.
So Kana is a good example of having a top laner on a winning team, a 2-1 team that's good, that you kind of want. But yeah, someday same exact thing. They like to play through top, and anything could happen with that too. So if you're looking for like a cheap punt, I mean someday would be great. Either him or Kana would be the two top laners that I would choose. So
Yeah, I agree. You get a little bit of salary savings there as well with either of those guys instead of Flandre, and I think they both. Now, Flandre probably ends up scoring better than Someday because EDG will win more games, but I do
Yeah.
think that Someday and Kana have more upside. Say if they were all going to win the same amount of games, I feel like those two would outscore Flandre.
Yeah.
By that purposes. Cal, we sort of stumbled on this, but if you got time, I mean, why don't we go through the other positions, position by position, and just kind of talk about your favorite plays there as well. So let's jump to the jungle. We got JJ, most expensive, owner, closer, and steal. Who are you prioritizing in the jungle tomorrow?
I'm probably gonna prioritize owner, if I can. I honestly think T1 is just like their games are just going to be massively bloody. Like they're a little bit reckless in the early game trying to get ahead. And owner's been a huge part of it. Not saying JJ isn't. You can't go wrong there. But the one with the massive upside, I would say you'd go JJ. Not JJ, owner. Very good guy. Player, plays a lot of carries. Probably has the best upside out of any jungler there.
Yeah, and I think you get really nice correlation then if you want to stack owner and Kana together, because as you said, he likes to camp that top side, and then obviously you're getting a kill and an assist every time they get one. So yeah. I think that's a nice little mini stack to put together for T1. As far as mid laners go, are you prioritizing two? Do you want one in your captain spot, or are you going to hold off for ADC? If you do go with two, who are the two that you're really looking at? This is kind of like a stupid exercise in one sense, Cal, because obviously you're always going to say either an EDG or a T1 player is your prioritization. But I do think it helps at least to talk about, which mid laner you're really honing in on here. So, and plus, it adds a little length to the videos for the people.
Yeah. Scout would be the one that I would like the most. Scout would be more of my captain guy. I would probably play him 100% anywhere else. If you want to go kind of crazy, the mid laner for DFM,
Arya.
Arya carries the game. Like he just carries his whole team. Even in losses, he is averaging like 5 kills, I think, 5 or 6 kills, which is more than actually Faker in a win. So going off the pack, yeah, Arya would be a good choice to go after. So
that would be kind of crazy. I mean, I feel like if you did go with a Arya one-off, then you're probably playing a mid laner in the captain spot, right? Because you don't want to completely punt on the others, at least Scout and Faker. But to your point, that's kind of an interesting way to do it because you get some good salary savings there. Although you might get a mid laner that loses 3 games, but if you could put up 5 kills a game, that's not bad, right? Like even in a loss, that's not bad for a one-off.
No, that's way better than what Faker's been putting up this entire Worlds. And not saying Faker's bad, it's just that putting Faker in a Azir duty it doesn't no justice for DFS unless he's racking up assists. Right. But all the Azir games have been horrible. I mean, not just his, but just by everyone in the LCK that's been playing it at Worlds. Like it's just been horrid. So at least they're putting Arya on like assassins or at least carry oriented champions,
Yeah, no, I'm with you. The Azir has been kind of resident sleeper, right, for the most part.
Yeah.
So, not loving that. So, yeah, I think Faker's like, I wouldn't really prioritize Faker too much at all just because he's been really supportive so far. So I think it's Scout or go all the way down to Arya. Kind of like that as a sneaky GPP play. AD carry. So is AD carry more the position that you want to try to get 2 AD carries from if you can? I mean, it's going to be hard if you want to go EDG T1. But who do you like here? I mean, is Viper still the main man you're looking at, or has kind of Gumayusi kind of overtaken him?
Both are really good. I mean, I like both of them, to be honest with you. Like, I don't mind any of the two. I really don't have a preference, to be honest. If I could, you would get Viper in the captain spot because obviously he's going to go 3-0. But Gumayusi is also super valuable. And it's another guy I kind of want in my lineup in general. So,
yeah, the interesting thing there, like if you did go with Arya as a one-off, I know that I just said if you do that, you're probably taking one of Scout or Faker in the captain spot. But if you put Arya as your one-off, you might be able to get both Viper and Gumayusi. Do you like that? Would you prefer to go double AD carry by doing that as a one-off, or would you rather have one of the top tier mid laners still?
That's I'd rather go that way in my opinion.
I think that'd be way less owned, right? Don't you?
Yeah.
Like people will be like, well, if I get Arya, I don't want to not have either Scout or Faker because they're going to win more games. So maybe this is like a really under the radar way to do it.
It really is, and it's a good way to, like I said, differentiate your lineup. If you really take the risk on that, cash games, obviously, I would not recommend that because that's kind of off the rocks. But I mean, proving out stat wise, I mean, this is like probably one of the most high upside lineups that you can grab. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I kind of like that. It's kind of a cool way. It's just a more interesting way to make a lineup than just saying, here, let me get 4 EDG and 3 T1, vice versa. You know what I mean? So, and then support role, I feel like Mako is the king, but you could probably get away with Keria. I don't think I'd recommend going either down to Huhi or Gang. Do you have a preference in the support role?
Both are fine. Keria and Mako are both really good options. Obviously, if you're trying to get that double ADC, you want either Carrier or Mako. But I think in this case, I think I'd rather have Mako. So
I think we both think that they're going to win more games, and I think Mako is just arguably the best support in the world. So
yeah,
I think he's in pretty good shape to do well tomorrow. And then team slot, I think you can't really go wrong with either EDG or T1. You said you don't really want to one-off a team slot, though, from 100 Thieves or DFM just because they're probably not winning very many games tomorrow.
Yeah, team slot is the one where you have to get right no matter what. I know some people might punt team slot because it's like you get the cheapest of the cheapest, but when a team slot scores around 30 points, right, and a losing team slot scores around 8, and so if a team goes 3-0, you're getting 90 points right there. And if you're going with the losing team, you're going to get a maximum of 25. And that's a huge difference. That's a huge gap where at least support, or like whatever, like a support or a top laner can be like 10, 15 points off. You know what I mean? Like right. you rather have 10, 15 points off than 70 points off. And that's basically from making you cash or not. So.
Yeah, like if this was straight up best of ones where the team's only playing one, I think then maybe the team slot punt is more viable. But when you're talking about 3 games worth of points, they do actually add up pretty fast. So like I wouldn't recommend it either. You're going to get more points. And even in a loss, you probably get more points from an actual player than you are going to get from their team slot. So yeah, that kind of was a spur of the moment, go through all the positions, but I kind of like doing that, Cal. It gives us more to talk about and really gets us into the player pool a bit more. And obviously this is going to be a little shorter of a pod just because, there's only 4 teams instead of, 8 games with every single team at Worlds for the other videos we've done. So anything else you want to talk about before we say goodbye for today?
No, today is kind of, if you're watching this today, obviously, I mean, today is just a little bit whacked out. It was kind of hard to believe C9, make that miracle run, but very confident in this one where I don't think any of that's going to happen tomorrow. Like I said in the write-up, FPX been looking a little sketchy, but I think with T1 and EDG looking solid, I think we can go for sure 3-0, 2-1, and then 100 Thieves. If somehow these guys fucking pull it off, then by all gods, NA, something's going on.
All in NA, baby. So yeah, I mean, obviously, just to recap, we really like EDG the best alongside with T1, but you got to get a little weird with your lineups or else you're going to be splitting prizes with everybody. We like the teams basically in the order they're coming into tomorrow. So, DFM we like the least. But remember, Cal did say the Arya one-off, the guy's averaging 5 kills a game, I think he said. That's pretty good, even if he's losing games. So that might be a sneaky way to build a lineup tomorrow with him in the mid lane, a little salary savings. So, yep. Cal, thanks as always, man, for joining me. We should be able to do a video. It's the weekend. We've missed a couple of days because, my work schedule just wasn't letting us get together. But, with the weekend coming up, I know you're busy with baseball, but we'll try to find the time and we'll be cranking these out if we can, guys.
yeah, we'll hopefully we get a video out again tomorrow sometime. I got my semifinals. We win, we play championship, so we'll see. But good luck again. You know, make sure you guys play different lineups, uh, and let's get after it.
Yeah, for sure. Good luck, guys, and Cal. Good luck to you with your team tomorrow, man.
Thanks. See you
All
guys.
right, see you guys.